Pants versus gravity. They say gravity is a harsh mistress, and it has no mercy and no sympathy. And no matter how carefully we try to navigate life, gravity is always lurking, ready to snatch away dignity with a well-timed betrayal. Mom and Dad, they're no different. They have a long history of being taken advantage of by gravity. Here's just a few examples. Dad was never a do-it-yourself mastermind, but he did his best, which is saying something. Mom and Dad moved into their new home. Mom quickly realized that the dimly lit hallway wasn't going to work. She needed more light, better light. Her vision wasn't great, and preferably light that didn't require her to guess where the walls were. "Can you install a new fluorescent light?" she asked. Dad, who actively avoided home renovation projects, agreed purely out of love for Mom. At a hardware store, they picked up the fluorescent fixture and the 2 long light bulbs that go in it and headed home. Mom had some TV to watch, so she left Dad alone to install the light. Grabbing a kitchen chair, Dad switched off the power and climbed up to remove the old fixture. The steps were: remove the glass cover, remove the bulb, go to the toolbox for the wrong screwdriver, curse the previous owner for never using matching screws, get the correct screwdriver, and so on. The old fixture was removed without incident, and Dad opened up the new one. Now here's the issue. His circulation isn't so great, and his arms go numb and begin to ache when he holds them above his head too long. He can't look straight up for too long or he gets dizzy, and his back isn't great. The fluorescent fixture was far heavier than the previous one and was also hard to manage without help. After a big struggle, Dad got the fixture into place. Then, realization struck. The screwdriver was on the floor. Cursing renovations in general, he climbed down, retrieved the tool, grumbled something about not being Bob Vila, then struggled back to maneuver the fixture into place again. With great difficulty, he connected the 2 wires that carry the electrical current. Just one more to go, the ground wire. With great care, he put the little screw in place so that he could reach up with the screwdriver and secure it. He reached into his sweatpant pockets for the screwdriver, raised his arm, and then, the screwdriver slipped. He watched it in slow motion as it bounced off the chair and mockingly landed on the floor. Now Dad had a real problem. The fixture was too heavy to let go, the wiring wasn't strong enough to support it, and he couldn't climb down to get the screwdriver. He turned slightly, trying to assess his options, and then the elastic waistband of his sweatpants slipped, slowly, casually, dramatically. Gravity snatched them down past his hips and over his rear, then all the way to his ankles. And here he stood, arms aching above his head, trying not to look up for too long lest he pass out, pants pooled around his ankles. This created a serious dilemma. He couldn't let go of the fixture. His pants kept his ankles too close together to safely step down off the chair. The remaining screws were down there in his pants pocket, and the screwdriver still lay mockingly on the floor. So he began to call for help. For what seemed like an eternity, he yelled. Finally, Mom heard over the TV him yelling and came around the corner to help, and witnessed her husband, pants down, arms trembling, trapped on the chair. After 30 seconds straight of uncontrollable laughter, she finally helped him. Another time, they lived in a place that was halfway up a big hill, and after any kind of hard rain, the mud would flow down and cover the driveway. So once the sun had returned one day, Dad decided to go outside with a hose and spray the mud off the pavement. This would be a good place to mention that my dad had a condition that caused him to lose much of the feeling in his feet, so much that he once stepped on a board with a long nail in it and went into his foot. He didn't realize he'd stepped on the nail until he saw that he was dragging the board along with him. So he also had minimal feeling halfway up to his knees. So where were we? Oh yeah, Dad went out to power wash the mud off the drive. So he turned on the water, opened the nozzle, and began to blast away on the driveway. After a few minutes, he felt something brush against his leg. Now, the neighbor's cat often comes up to people and rubs up against their legs, so he figured that was it. What Dad didn't realize is that the elastic waistband in his pants had given up entirely. Gravity had returned to mock Dad again. The jogging pants slipped quietly, drifting downward, landing once more around his ankles. Oblivious, Dad continued hosing down the driveway, smiling in the morning air, enjoying the sunshine, waving at passers-by, completely unaware that he was now without pants. He didn't realize what had happened until he went to take a few steps down the drive and nearly fell. Looking down and realizing what had happened, he panicked and fumbled around in an effort to get his pants back up where they belonged before anyone saw. In his haste to correct the situation, he soaked himself with the hose, which shocked him even further. The worst part was that he wasn't even sure how long he was without pants before he noticed. Eventually, he made his way back into the house, and he looked like a sorry sight. Defeated, Dad scurried back inside, drenched, dignityless. Mom took one look at him and lost it. Gravity had claimed yet another victim. Now, Mom was not without incident either. She went for a routine dental checkup. Things were great. No cavities, sparkling teeth. Appointment was a success. She sat up in the dentist chair, swiveled her 90 degrees, and stood up. And then her pants betrayed her. Gravity waited until she was on her feet, then yanked her waistband to the floor. Now, as far as she knew, only the dental assistant witnessed it and quickly said, "Gee, I wish my pants could fall to the floor." Mom laughed and collected her dignity and left the office. Has gravity ever gotten the best of you? Tell us in the comments about a time when you fought gravity and lost epically, because, let's face it, epic failure, when regular failure just won't do. I hope you enjoyed this group of stories about the battle to overcome gravity, and I invite you to come back often and spend time listening to personal stories that might even bring some of your own stories back to memory. Just don't forget to laugh about them. See you next time.